For them, it's like a big risk. Like, why not just do the same jump I did from, moving Vietnam and just get a regular job and, live? That's a great life. It's a great life to them, right? Because of where they came from. But to us, it's the same life we've been living.
I'm Ray Licardo, and this is Big Little Dreams, a show where we explore the extraordinary journeys of entrepreneurs who break the mold. Ryan so far is the youngest entrepreneur I've ever had on this podcast, and his story is nothing short but jaw-dropping. After turning down a college basketball offer and rejecting the traditional career path, Ryan went all in on building a marketing agency from the ground up. What he lacked in experience, he made up for with hustle, raw conviction, and nonstop drive. In this episode, we get real about immigrant family expectations, redefining success as a Gen Z entrepreneur, and the sacrifices it takes to bet on yourself early. Whether you're launching your first business or feeling stuck on a path that doesn't serve you, Ryan's story proves you're never too young to create your own lane. Welcome to the show, Ryan Quach.
What sort of mentors did you look up to when you started your business, and what made you decide to start Aurelian with Diego?
So, funny story. I'm pretty sure I already told you this before, but we'll let everyone know. So I was senior year of high school. I was playing basketball and I knew I was okay. I got a D3 offer from some school in New York, but I didn't.
Sick.
Yeah,
know that.
I didn't take. Come on, I'm pretty good, but I didn't take them up on it because I was like, I didn't see a future. Just because I'm not sure, maybe similar to business, but there's not a lot of Asian people playing basketball in the NBA, right? So I was just kind of like, damn, I don't think I can make a lot of money from this, right? And then it was almost like one day I woke up and I don't think I can make a lot of money off basketball. What am I going to do to make money, right? Because basketball season's coming to an end. It's about February, January. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to start reselling stuff. So I started selling everything in my house because the way to make money is to use money to make money, right? And I don't have any money. So, and I'm not working a job because my mom has a nail salon. She owns a nail salon in Laverne. And I took one day, I was an appointment setter for a receptionist. And I did 8 hours that day. And that was the worst day of my life. I was like, what am I doing? I cannot work a job. Like, what am I doing? Bring it back to basketball. I was like, well, I can't go work a job. So I'm going to just start selling stuff. Like, my dad was like going crazy. I sold the Nintendo Switch for like $300-$200 without him knowing, without my sister knowing, without my cousins knowing. They're like, where's the console? And I sold it, right? And so sold it. I had a little bit of money and I was reselling. I was reselling stuff and I was looking into drop shipping, tried it for a little bit, didn't really work out, right? But the main focus was like, job's not for me. Like, job's not for me. And it's almost weird when you grow up, your parents always telling you, especially Asian parents, like they're telling you college, job, doctor, or, do whatever you want. But don't it's not do whatever you want. It's not do whatever you want.
It's not an actual like, hey, we support you in any decision that you make.
Yeah.
And mom, if you're listening to this, I know you're probably supporting whatever I'm doing, but I had the feeling that it wasn't exactly that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a, what's the term? It's almost like a pressure to do what they want you to do, even though they're saying that, because there's that cultural feeling of you have to do what they've kind of intended in their brain for you to do as a kid. I thought I needed to be a business person in a like big company or be in sales or something like that, or an engineer like my dad. So I was trending toward that, and I was doing classes, and my degree is in information systems management, which is like pretty tied to engineering. And I thought that was the way to go because that would fulfill my parents' destiny essentially for me. But I know what you mean. It's hard.
And what it is because they come from such a hard upbringing. Yeah, and they come from like, my mom moved here when she was like 22, 30. She didn't know English, right? So it's almost like working a corporate job is like good to them because of where they came from, the spectrum, right? Yeah. They came from all the way over here. So being right here, that's pretty good, right? Compared to how we see it when we're born right here spoiled as fuck, right? We're spoiled. So we're like, that's not good. Like, I want to go over here, right? So when you see the spectrum, like they see it as this big of a gap, which is why they deem it risky compared to us where it's like right here on this side of the spectrum. Cause we're so, I wouldn't say, I don't like to use the word spoiled, but we are spoiled.
I would say we are,
there, right?
Especially coming from, for sure.
So to them, it's like a big risk. Like, why not just do the same jump I did from, moving Vietnam and just get a regular job and, live? That's a great life. It's a great life to them, right? Because of where they came from. But to us, it's the same life we've been living. So, and that's what it is. That's what's crazy. And so I was like, I didn't want to do that, right? So I was doing a college essay for my college class. I've always been a good student because I've always been able to retain information, right? And it got to the point where I wouldn't even need to do homework, right? Because I would just, like, I already know everything. Like, the teacher would teach it. I would already know everything. So it's like, why do I need to do this? I already know.
Yeah.
Like that, right? And my mom, obviously, she sent me to Kumon when I was younger. All the stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, I felt like it was pretty smart growing up. I was always the fastest to do the multiplication tables, all the little stuff. Like, I was always the fastest. It taught me school, but most importantly, I think the big thing now is the work ethic, right? Because you don't know you're working hard as a child until they really pull you out of it. Like, I didn't know how I would go to school from 8 to like 3, and then Kumon from 3 to 5, and then do more work after. Like, I was full-time student, right? That taught me work ethic. Then I got into video games, and I was the best gamer. I switched school to video games. Instead of going all in on school, I went all in on video games. After I went all in on video games, I was like, wait, like, no one likes me at school. How do I feel like an outcast. I went to a very Caucasian school, right? So I was like, I wouldn't say like an outcast, but there was always like, he looks different, right? I probably talk the same. I know I speak English, but you always look different. And it's like 10 Caucasian people and Ryan. It wasn't really, and it's always weird because then I would go make Asian friends, like in the Caucasian school. Like, there's just an Asian group, which is weird, right? It's weird how that works out. Maybe it's human nature, but
it is, yeah.
Yeah. But that just like drove my work ethic too. Cause I was like, I'm gonna show like everyone that I could do this, right? And everyone's tall. I got lucky to be tall. So I'm not sure. We haven't met in person yet, but
How tall are you?
I'm like 5'11" and 3/4. I just say 6'1".
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like pretty good for
Yeah.
an Asian guy. Like, and
Yeah. I'm
I don't know.
5'10",
Yeah.
and people think I'm tall, and I'm like, I'm not that tall.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy? I go to like other like parties, and everyone's like my height, if not taller than me, right? And then I'll go to like Westminster, right? Or like by OC, and I'll be like, this is amazing. This is amazing.
You're like the tallest
right?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I always felt like a little like different in a sense because of where I grew up. Maybe if I grew up in Westminster, I wouldn't be here today, right? But I always felt
Really?
different.
You think so?
Yeah, because of your environment, right? And everyone's just doing what you're doing, but you see other successful people or other people doing what you want to do, and they didn't take the path that your parents told you to take, right? So then you kind of like, what really opened my eyes was, so I cheated on my essay, right? And I'm like waking up in a sense, like, I don't want to do this, right? But it didn't hit me till I cheated on my essay, and I got kicked out of class, and my parents were mad at me, and I was sitting in my room, like thinking, what am I going to do with my life? And then the next day I woke up, and I was kind of like, well, like, the world didn't end, like, I thought that was the end. I got kicked out of class. I can't go to college anymore. Colleges aren't going to accept me. I still got accepted to some of them. I accepted to, some of the bigger Cal States, but it was like, I was like, wait, my life didn't end. Like, people actually don't go to school and make money. Like, it almost happened in like 1 week where I kind of was just like, what am I doing here? It was the weirdest like realization. It was like, my life is a lie. Like, my life is a lie. And once you see one thing, right, then you start questioning everything. I was like, wait, like, people don't go to college and they make money? It's like 16, 17. My parents have been telling me this the whole time. And then you start questioning other things. They're like, well, they tell me not to do, X, Y, and Z, right? They tell me save money, for example, right? And then you start to think, save for what? Then you start questioning, and you go into it and you're like, wow, they're wrong on that too, right? They're wrong on that too.
Yeah.
And it just spirals, right? It just spirals. And then I went into this whole, like, I feel like I had like a new identity. Like, I went from basketball player to like non-social to now I have to be social because now I have to learn sales for the business. It was like all in 1 week. Like, I went from, because right when I cheated on my essay, season ended, right? So now I go home. I used to practice. I wake up at 5:30, get shots up, right? Go home, shower, and go to school. And then I'd shoot again, practice, and then I'd shoot after practice, right? And that was just work ethic because video games, same thing. I would wake up in the morning. and play the video game. They play the game. So I just switched it over, like Kumon, video games, basketball, business. Like work ethic has never been a problem for me. It was more so I just had a crazy wake up call, and yeah, man, like now we're here, like just grinding.
Sick.
I love it. Still work out, go to the gym, but yeah, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. And I'm 18, like I still have a lot left.
There's a lot going for you, which I'm really happy to hear from you on this, because I think the perspective of someone who's younger in your generation, I feel, is also super important. Because to me, I also feel, yes, I went to college, but I don't feel like using a lot of what I learned in college into my business life. A lot of what I've learned so far that I'm using in business is stuff that I've done like at work, but not necessarily school. I can see it as a way to like get people motivated to have that, what is it called? You just use the term.
Ethic?
You have the work ethic, yeah. And like continue to build that, because you have to like do all these classes, get to that point and like pass the test or whatever it is. But if you already kind of have that as innately in yourself, I know a lot of athletes have this, right? The work ethic is there. It's just how you translate that into business.
Yeah, and it's the competitiveness
that's when
too,
you
that
get that.
win.
Exactly. Yeah. And you want to win for yourself and like beat everyone else out. You just have to switch that mentality to then business and transfer it over, which is really cool to hear from you. When did you start your business with Diego, or how did that come to be? When did you guys meet?
We cheated on, I cheated on the essay, right? I was like, dang, my life is over. Basketball season ended. Before I was probably, I would practice all day. It was eat, shoot around, and then just resell on the side, like on the weekends, right? And even on the weekends, I'm still working out, right? Trying to get better. And season ended, I had the offer to go play in New York. And I was like, you know what? Like, I don't think this is for me. Like, I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Truthfully, I didn't think I could make the NBA. That's what it was. Because I want to make the NBA. There's no point in playing basketball if I don't make the NBA. And so I had all this free time, and I was like, I need to do something with my life. So I started looking into reselling, drop shipping. I saw SMM, I saw marketing. There's like so many other business models. I actually started a different management agency in the, we'll say, entertainment industry with one of my friends, and that turned out terrible. So that was like my first failed business. And this was, I would say, this was actually during basketball season, winter break, right? It's always like whenever I have free time, I always gravitate towards business. It's not like during my free time, I would go get a side job, because most people on winter break, they just work double, right, for their job, in and out, fast food usually, right, for high school, right? But I was always like, I was like, no, like I'm not doing that. Like I'm gonna make money someplace else. So I started this agency, and it was like, these guys are not all in. Like that's how I felt. Like some of my friends weren't all in, right? And I was like, dang, like business partners matter. And so now after basketball season, I had all this free time. I just had a failed agency. What am I going to do next? And I wasn't looking for a business partner, because you can do it yourself, right? And the best way is to just kind of let it come to you. If it happens, it happens, right? It's kind of like a relationship with girls. It's like the same thing. If it happens, then it happens, right? And so I cheated on the essay. I thought my life was over. Had all this free time, right? And I get kicked out, and I see that another kid cheated on his essay too, and he got kicked out. And everyone's talking about in school, the basketball player that got kicked out, like he's done with basketball. Like no one really talks to him anymore because he's not in basketball, right? And he just cheated on his essay. So everyone's like, dang, like my life's over. Like they thought my life was over too. Like Asian basketball player without basketball, and you're Asians, and people just think, you know, being Asian means you're good at school. So when they saw that I cheated on the essay, they thought my life was over. Asians, he's not good at school anymore, right? So, and same thing with me. I was like, wait, I'm Asian. I'm supposed to be good at this shit. Like, I'm not good. I got kicked out of class, right? And I see everyone's talking about this other guy cheated on his essay, got kicked out of class, right? And I hadn't really heard of him, right? I went to the school for about like 2 years, and I just kind of knew of him. And I was like, oh, okay. Like if someone asked me, do I know him? I would have said no, but I would have been like, oh, I know of him. Like, I think I heard he plays water polo or something. I've seen him around, right? And I see one day, like, he's like on his laptop. Like, he's sat, like, in front of me, not in the row in front of me, but to the right. And I see a little bit on his laptop. He's, like, messaging, I think, a client that was on free trial. I didn't know at the time. And I was like, oh, shoot, this guy's a business. Or he's messaging someone. And I was like, yo, bro, like, you cheat on your essay too? Right? Because we got kicked to a lower level class. And like, the English teacher put us, like, close to each other. She wanted to make sure we didn't cheat again, or I don't know, whatever the case may be. He was like, are you cheating on your essay too? And he was like, yeah. I was like, what happened? He was like, I don't really see, like, we got into this deep talk of school's not important. And then I was like, wow, like, I literally think the exact same way. What are the chances? Like, I literally think the exact same way. And it's sometimes, like, hard for people to make that jump with, like, business partners, right? Because it's like, we just cheated on an essay. I've only known him for a month. I've heard of him, right? But I have, I've had friends for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, right? That throughout this whole time. But for some reason, I was just like, we're going to, like, pop off, and, like, this is really going to be successful because we're so aligned in our, like, thought pattern and our, like, reasoning. Like, I would shoot him. I would be like, bro, sometimes this happens and I just want to do this. And he's like, I'm the exact same way. And, like, damn. So decided to start this whole marketing thing, right? And it was tough at first. We didn't have any money. I had a little bit. He didn't have any money, right? I think I probably had like $2,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
All right. Started this whole marketing thing. And I'm in high school. My parents are like, you got kicked out of class. What are you doing with your free time? You should be trying to get better grades and go to college. And I'm like, Mom, trust me, this is going to work out. So fast forward 2-3 months, still working on the business, no clients, figuring out systems, figuring out how to talk, how to do sales calls. I remember I would run into well, yeah, I'll think about it. And I would be like, for sure, go think about it. For sure, go think about it. I'll talk to you later. Probably lost, like, I don't know how much, right? And I didn't know. I was like, how are people getting these clients? And how are people, like, even running a business? It seems like everyone wants to think about it, right? And it was a big, like, turnaround. And there's a quote that I always, like, listen to. Like, even yesterday, I told Diego the same quote. It's, you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I didn't even know I was wrong or not doing it correctly. And we bought this mentorship. We had $3,000 in the bank account. The mentorship was 10 to scale your agency to 50 grand a month. The mentorship was 10 grand. And the payment plan was, like, I think it was for 3 months. The longest one they had, the split, was 4-4, like $399, $399, right? And I was like, I literally showed him my bank account. I was like, I will give you everything in my bank account. Like, right now, like, we're going to do this. And me and Diego have always been, like, the all-in type. Not afraid to starve. Like, I was like, bro, if I have to eat, like, 1 egg a day, then we're going to, because who else is doing it, right? Sometimes I get happy, like, I'm a little hungry, things aren't going my way, and I know someone else is going to run into the same problem as me and quit their business, right? They're going to run into the same problem. And it's almost like everyone has the same journey. Everyone goes through that struggle, right? That struggle period.
100%.
Like, what did you go through?
Yeah, it's kind of that same thing, right? Like, the more that I talk to people about this, like, everyone kind of has a very similar journey of, okay, it's that resilience part. You could do everything that you need to do, but then if it like shit gets hard, then so many people just give up and they're like, I can't, like, only buy rice today. I'm only going to eat chicken. It's like, bro, cool. Go eat the chicken. Then you're going to still be alive the next day tomorrow and then figure it out. I'm the same way too. I'm like, I'm all in until if I can't go in anymore, then, like, sure, that's when I give up. But I'm going to put my entire foot forward and my whole body forward into making sure shit happens for me. So I have found that a lot of entrepreneurs are kind of the same way. Like, they kind of put everything into it. And they're more, they're less risk averse. Is that correct? Or they're down to, like, you have more risk on the back end. So,
I mean, because the way we think is, like, not only does every entrepreneur go through this path, right, of, like, the same way, it's almost like, for some reason, it's almost like the only way, right?
It's
like, right? Yeah. Because you never met someone that succeeded without, them failing, right? And it's like, even sometimes the harder you fail, the better you succeed. Like, when you go into something and they're like, you're dumb, you have no idea what you're talking about, I look at it as great. That means instead of knowing half of the stuff and improving 50%, now I know nothing. I get 100% to improve on. That's amazing, right?
Yeah, sick.
Like, I was talking to my coach today and he was like, do you run an agency over, like, 100 grand? And I was like, no. And he was like, so why are you telling me that you think this is the problem when obviously you've been trying to solve this problem and it's not working? I'm like, wow, like, please tell me the problem so I can solve it. Right? And also most of the time, like 90% of the time, solving the problem isn't the hardest part. It's finding which problem to solve, right?
Yeah.
That's the hardest part.
Dang.
Because
Yeah.
anyone can go invest and do this or put time and energy towards this. But the hardest part is, which one do I put my time and energy towards? That's what I found to be the hardest part. And again, you don't know what you don't know, and you need mentors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we paid for that course, and I squeezed like every bit of information out of him. Because what else was I going to do? I had like 40 cents in my bank account. Like me and Diego would just show up, sit together, and just think and talk to this mentor, squeeze out all the information. We'd rewatch the call. Okay, he said this sentence. What does this sentence mean? What relates to this about the agency? We don't know what we don't know, but he said this sentence. How can we implement that here? Why did he say this sentence? How did he find out, right? What mistake did he make that to give us this sentence so we don't make that same mistake? Mm-hmm. So it's like a whole analyzation. The only reason why we did that is because what else were we going to do? We had nothing, right? Yeah. I guarantee you, if we had $50,000 in the bank account and put $10,000 towards his program, we would have never analyzed everything and succeeded the way we did. Because we would have been, oh, we got 40 grand. We have some rent left. Let's just go out to eat today, right? But it was, bro, I have about 2 quarters in my bank account. Can we get a client, please? Can we sign someone? How can we sign someone? We need to really lock in on what he's saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so that's so interesting you say that. Yeah. Do you watch Shark Tank at all?
I do sometimes, like the little clips.
Do you know, so Barbara Cochran, she only invests in people who do their business like full time, and they've started from the bottom and came up. And the reason she does that is because the resilience that you build when you're literally you don't have anything else to feed you besides your business. She'd rather invest in those types of people because we will be looking at all the details of how to get to from point A to point B, then to Z. You know what I mean? But if you have what you said, if you have $50,000 in the bank and just spent it on this course, you're less likely to then look at all the details and really sink in, because you're like, well, I already have. You feel comfortable. And a lot of the success comes from uncomfortability. It's fucking hard, but like it's what helps you grow. So I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, a lot of people.
We do the same thing with our designers, right? Like if you're part-time, I'm like, you need to go full-time because this isn't going to work if you don't.
Yeah, you got to put everything
right.
Like
you
in.
You gotta choose a path. You can't spend all your energy deciding which path to choose, right? And it's almost like you got to give 200%. You got to spend 100% of your energy choosing the best path, and then 100% of your energy making sure the path works.
Oh,
so that's where the struggle comes in as well. I mean, it's every single day there's a problem. I feel like every single day there's a problem, bro. And after that problem, there's another problem.
Yeah, which I wouldn't trade it for anything else, honestly. Yesterday, I went to a Christmas party and people were asking me how work was. And I didn't really want to talk about it because usually when I talk about work, it's stressful to me sometimes. But then I have to realize for myself, I think that's just going to be my life and I should be okay with it. And in that moment, I was like, it was crazy, but I enjoy what I'm doing. I wouldn't trade it for anything else. It would be nice to have a full, stable income all the time. But the trajectory of where I can take myself as a business owner is leaps and bounds from me being stuck at 9 to 5, where I'm maybe going to get 10% every year.
And you had that experience, like fully, like you worked and you actually had that. Yeah. So you really know what like you don't want to do. Like sometimes I'm kind of like,
definitely don't.
What if I just got a job right now? Like it's stable and whatever. And then I'll go back to thinking like, I really don't want to do this. And you get to the point where people ask you like about your business and like, they're like, what are you going to do if it fails? What are you going to do if, this happens and something blows up, whatever the case may be? And then I'm going to be like, I'm going to start another business because what else is there to do? What else is there to do? Yeah. Like genuinely it's this or nothing. And if it's not this or nothing, then it's going to be the other thing. I think there's a quote that it's like, basically what it says is, if you tolerate something, then that'll become your reality. Like if you're okay with, A, B, and C happening to you, chances are it's going to happen to you. You need to hate A, B, and C and make sure A, B, and C never happen to you and it won't happen to you. But if you're just, that's okay. It's fine if it happens. It's going to happen and you're going to be fine with it. If you're like, oh, worst case, I'll just get a job. you're going to get a job because the business is going to work out. You need to be like, worst case, I die. Like, worst case, I'm going to starve. Like, I better make this work. And then it works. And it's crazy. And it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to just tell, regular, comfortable people, wherever they are in their life, like, bro, why don't you just go all in on this? Like, take the chips. Like, this is why I don't go to the casino. You don't go to the casino. Don't go to the casino.
Dude, I'd be bad. Yeah, dude, I'd want to spend it on everything.
So,
because I'm already all in on. Yeah.
Poker?
I'm so bad at gambling because my strategy with that is so shitty. I approach it like I approach business. Not the same.
I'm like,
I'll lose so much money.
If I think I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose. So I'm going to win. But if I think I'm going to win, I should go all in. So let me go all in. And then, bro, it's crazy, man.
It's wild. Yeah. It's interesting how we approach things too, because I'm curious how you handle things with all your other friends. Like when we talked last, you were saying that most of your friends aren't entrepreneurs. Same for me too. A lot of my friends aren't in the entrepreneur space, but artists and music people maybe. And then back home in the Bay, everyone works in tech. And so even with that, it's like, it's hard to have conversations about work because it's hard for me to then, have them relate back to me because they're kind of just like, how do you handle that? What's that like for you?
With my friends, honestly, I don't really have conversations about work with them.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes
same
kind of the opposite way too. With my entrepreneurial friends, all we talk about is the business, right? Right? All you talk about is business. You don't talk about anything else. And then with my other friends, I'll just, whatever they're talking about, what did you do this weekend? See how their family is, like the regular checkups. But it's nothing that I know they can't relate, right? So there's no point, right? And you're the 5 people that you hang around with, right? You're the 5, or what's that quote? Like, you're the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
Right. And so I actually took that to heart, and like I kind of like distanced myself for the time being, because it almost does stuff to you when even just like little things like buying something, right? If I'm with one of my business friends and we go out to eat, it's just someone covers the bill, someone slides it off, right? No one cares because it's all about, what's that word? It's like, I don't want to say like
building the network.
Yeah. Like, it's almost like it's just like what people do. Like it's just like what people do compared to if I went out with my other friends and they're like all worried about money and this, and that gets in your head, right? Because if you hung out with them 10 times in a row, they're, oh shoot, let's not order this. Like it's like $1 extra. That gets in your head, right? And then you hang out with your entrepreneur friends. They're like, bro, just get whatever you want. Like, I got you this time. Just get me next time.
Yeah.
Right. And it like builds habits and thinking habits. And I noticed that even with just life, like I'll wake up and sometimes my other friends, they'll be sleeping or they'll be on their phone playing video games, right? Which is not a terrible thing, but I see 10 of them doing it and I feel left out, right? I'm like, dang, like, let me just go hop on a game with them, right? Compared to, I see 10 of my friends with their laptops open, answering messages, taking calls, and I'm playing video games. I'm like, bro, what am I doing? Like, let me go take some calls, right? So it's like it's the same thing. If I'm taking calls and 10 people are playing video games, like chances are I'm going to stop the call and I'm going to go play video games, right? So
it's always the environment that you're in.
Yeah, I really distance myself from a lot of my friends, right? But I still keep in touch. And I still try to do things that we can relate to, kind of like go to the gym with them, play sports with them, still get food with them, right? But I'll cover the bill this time. So you guys don't worry about it. I got it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Right? Like stuff like that. But, it's not like I cut them out like, fuck you guys. Like, you guys don't understand. It's not like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always that interesting balance when, as a business owner and entrepreneur, because like, you can't always be around people who relate to you all the time. Like, you have to have a separate outlet, and if that's friends who are doing something else outside of what you're doing, but you still have like one main connection, either going to the gym or like game night or something like that. Like, it's always nice to have that balance because like work-life balance is a true thing. Like you have to make sure that you have that as an entrepreneur, because then you're just going to go crazy. Like, or if you just have friends and you have no entrepreneurial friends to talk about, you're going to feel like alone in your journey.
No, I stayed
with my friend.
Talked about that too. Yeah. I stayed with my friend. he's in college and I stayed at his apartment for a couple of days. After I went home, like I had to like rewire my brain. It was so weird. Yeah, I was almost like, wait, I don't want to go to college. But I saw everyone go to college. They all were happy. And I was like, wait, like everyone's having a great time. Like maybe I need to do this. Like, and then I went back and was like, I can't. Like I had to rewire my brain. Life balance. My mentor told me like, what is balance, right? Is it spending? There's like two examples of balance that he gave me. I'll let you be the judge on if it's balance or not, right? So he put it at scale of, let's say 1 week, right? You work 6 days that week. You hang out with your friends 1 day, right? That's a 6 to 1 day. That's a 6 to 1 ratio from work to friends, which I think is, it's not a terrible balance. You could definitely manage it, right? But let's just say 6 to 1, right? He said instead of doing 6 days and then hang out with your friends for 1 day, right? Would you agree that's a good balance?
I would say so.
It's like not terrible, right?
Like it's fine.
He said, instead of doing that, keep the same balance, right? It's still balanced, 6 to 1, right? But now increase the scale. So now you go 6 months of straight locking in on your business, right? And then 1 month of vacation with your friends, right? Some people might say that's imbalanced, but I look at it as the same thing.
Yo, same. Like that sounds amazing to me. If I could just lock in for 6 months, work on the entire business, no one is around me to like bother me.
Yeah.
Yo, that's paradise. And then go to paradise.
and they're
amazing.
They're your friends too, right? So sometimes I'll text and I'll be like, bro, like honestly, like I'm super busy for like these next couple months. Like I really want to make this thing work. And if they truly care about you and they truly care about your success or care about that you're going to be happy and fulfilled, then they'll let you do that. I've had friends that are just like, they're like, bro, like I get the journey you're on and I'm in college right now, bro. I still love you. You're still a brother to me. Text me in like 6 months. I don't care. We'll just hop back on the same page, like, and just see what's going on. Like those are the type of friends you keep around you. You don't want the ones that are business guy over here, like don't have enough time for us.
Yeah. And they make you feel bad.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm doing what I like. Like, can't you just be happy about that? So those are the friends that I've cut off. But the friends that support, because what is a friend, right? Someone that supports you, right? And cares about you, right? If they're like, oh, you don't want to hang out with us, they're not supporting you and they don't care about you. They care about themselves. You get what I'm saying?
100%.
So it's almost that shift I had to have. And I'm 18, man. So I got a lot more to learn. You don't know.
Well,
crazy.
Yes. And I think that's how one should also kind of approach things. And if you're 35, 40, 60, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
For me, like a quote that's really stuck to me. I don't even know who it's from, but it's, you're a student at life forever. It might have been Gandhi. But you're just going to have to continue to learn. And if you don't like be flexible in your life, you're just going to stay stagnant however you are. For me personally, and I'm sure you probably relate to this too. It's like you don't want to stay in one spot your entire life. You want to continue to
honestly,
grow.
You never stay in one spot. You're either improving or you're getting worse because time's passing by. People don't stay in one spot. Time doesn't stay in one spot, right? So if you stay in one spot, you're really wasting time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So you might still have the same number in your bank account, but come on, like it's been 5 months, right? So have you really stayed stagnant or have you actually gone down because you wasted time, right? So it's like
yeah. I like that mindset because you're wasting time if you're just sitting.
Like what are you gonna
not
do?
Even
like,
doing nothing, but you're not doing anything new. But some people just enjoy that. That's not for me. And like whoever is out there wanting to like do that, like props to you. But I'm sure whoever is listening to this also wants to like continue to improve whatever they're doing, and they want to see other people that look like them and feel like they can relate to a journey like ours, right? So hopefully we can maybe share some of those insights to other people and they can get inspired.
I mean, it's good to have these conversations because it really gives you an outlook and just kind of familiarity of like, okay, someone's going through the same thing I'm going through, right? And then it's like, okay, so, you know, what I'm going through is hard, but there's light at the end of the tunnel and it helps you see the light at the end of the tunnel so you don't just drop it. And that's why Diego's been really helpful with me. Sometimes I'll have a couple calls and I won't close and I'm like, bro, like, let's just stop everything. Let me become a high ticket closer for someone else. I know we're doing good right now, but I just feel like I need to do this. And he's like, bro, why are you giving up so soon? Like, it's only because to some people, a month of failing is too much. And to some people, 2 years of failing is not enough, right? it's like, you need to struggle more. What are you doing, right? Or it's like, dude, it's already been a month. What am I doing, right? And he's kind of like, he keeps me on the track of don't give up. There's been times, and I think that's like the most important thing that I've taken from my business relationship with Diego. Like, he keeps me in check and not motivating
What a
me,
great
right?
guy.
Yeah, and just kind of
Yeah.
letting me see the bigger picture. That's like the biggest help. And sometimes that's all you need, because once you decide to not give up, then you start learning again. You start picking up random things, and then next thing you know, we sign a couple people and we're back on our feet. And I'm like, bro, thank you so much for telling me that, right? And then it makes it even easier, right? Because then you go to another downfall. You're like, I'm used to this now. I'm just gonna keep learning and just pick it back up, right? And it's almost like you get used to it, and it's like it's up and down, but it's really like this. You really go up in the bigger picture, and that's what's been like super beneficial for me, like learning wise and just hardships. Like I
was gonna ask, what is the one thing that you've learned about, or like a few things that you've learned about yourself through this journey that you didn't know before starting the business with Diego, but like basically just answered it for me right now. That's amazing.
Bro, things are 10 times harder than you think. And I'm not lying when I say it. Like, actually multiply it by 10. Like, it is 10 times harder than you think, right? Which is so crazy. There's been so many arguments with my parents, and like, just like, dude, like, you won't believe how many times I've gone in the same circle with them, right? And you can't break out of the circle, and I don't think I ever will. I've kind of accepted it, get used to it, and just move on.
Yo, I'm 35. I have the same conversations I had when I was like 13.
Yeah.
So it's going to be okay. You just have to kind of like, if you want to keep in contact with your family and whatever, you know, some business people, especially Asian business owners, like kind of like ties with their family, because there is that like stigma of like an Asian business owner being not the thing for Filipino. That's like, you have to be a nurse, engineer, whatever, like, in tech. Like, a business owner is not a thing, or a dancer and singer. But even then, that's not going to pay the bills. So if you're doing that, you have to get like some sort of job. So I know a lot of people who have cut their family out entirely. But if you decide to keep your family there, even if they're not supporting you, you got kind of just, you need to figure out how to navigate those types of conversations and like be like, okay, you know what, we agree to disagree, and then just like forward from it and be like, you know, we're so cool. But I get it.
And this is like one thing that I learned, like, sales is not sales. Right. I'm going to connect this all, but sales is not sales. Sales is really just helping people understand you, and sometimes helping people understand what you bring to the table. Right. So it's almost like the better I got at sales, the better my parents understood me. Right. Because I would ask them, right. I'd be like, hey, mom, like, why do you want me to go to college? Right. To make money. Right. Why do you want me to make money? To be successful, and for her to know that I could provide for myself, so she doesn't have to worry about me. Right. So I connected the two. I kind of like sold her on the idea. I was like, so you, the reason why you're going to go to college is so I make money and I can provide for myself, and you don't have to worry, right? I was like, what if I could do that, but just another way, right? And then I sold her on the idea that I'm going to start a business and it's going well, and don't worry, right? But I would have never known that. I would have just been like, college, no. Like, no, I'm not doing that. And she would have just, in just circles. But I was literally like, why this, why that, right? And it's like, some people, they'll say like, for you, you're an interior designer, right? And I'll say, why do you want to get an extra 2 projects per month, right? And then the short answer is, well, because I want more money, right? But the deep answer is, why do you want that money? What are you going to do with that money? How does that money affect your life, right? And then you get a deeper understanding of the true desires that people really want, right? Not just the surface level. And that's like the biggest thing. Sales is just getting to know people on a deeper level and like truly helping them out.
100%.
Which is crazy. And you apply it to life. And I didn't realize you could apply it to life, because I was like, what do you mean? I'm just trying to get people to buy stuff. How am I going to get my mom? Like, how does that make sense? Right. But then you really understand like humans, which is so, like, I'm so fascinated with that.
Yeah. It's exactly same. Like, it's about like being inquisitive too. That's what makes good salespeople good, is because they continue to like want to learn about this person, how to really help them, but also a good human, good friend, good son, good daughter, you know, like, it's being inquisitive.
Yeah. And from the outside, it's like,
person.
yeah. And from the outside, it's like, oh, this guy's just trying to sell me. right? And then you almost have to change their perception on sales and then sell them, right? The word sell is kind of like thrown around, but like as like a closer myself, right? Closer for my own company. Like selling is really just calling someone up. It's like, hey, you can improve, and I'm going to ask you questions so you realize that you can improve and you make the jump.
Yeah.
That's what selling is. That's selling someone on something. It's calling them up, right? So I look at it that way, and it's almost like I have to convince or sell them again on the idea that selling is not selling. It's super weird.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. For
Right,
sure.
but it's good that you get that deep understanding, right? And then that makes it even better.
Exactly. And I'm just realizing now, so we've got 49 minutes in the books.
I think it's been an hour.
50. It's been an hour, and I didn't even
That was
realize
fast.
until now. So we'll switch over to yeah, it was quick. I didn't even realize. But we'll switch over to spill the tea. So spill the tea, like I mentioned to you earlier, is a segment where I'll ask you a series of fun, rapid questions. Some more personal, others not so personal, mostly fun. So if you choose to answer and spill the tea, you don't have to drink from your cup. But if you choose not to answer, just sip the tea and you'll stay quiet. You ready?
Okay, that's cool. All right, let's go.
Let's go. All right. So be honest. First question. What's the most questionable advice you've ever received from a mentor or business coach? And did you follow it?
Questionable advice that I received: definitely leave my parents' house and drop out and go be homeless for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Like,
Did
just
you follow
genuinely
it?
be honest. No, I did not. I probably slept in my car about like 2 times, like total. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, is this really, can I just, hey mom, like, can I just stay please? And then it's all done. Like, now I can sleep and energy and everything. So that was very questionable. He was like, it's going to be a great story, man. Just be homeless for 2 months. You'll have a good story, which is true. But, you know, like, let me sleep in a bed, please, and get this work, right?
Yeah. Okay.
That was questionable.
Who's your favorite cringe influencer and what influencer that you low-key following?
Influencers that I'm low-key following? Dang. Controversial, Andrew Tate.
Okay.
I would say I actually listened to his podcast last night. So I don't know if that's the answer you're looking for, but I listened to it.
That is, yeah.
Some of the stuff is also questionable advice, right? Some of the stuff is questionable advice, but a lot of it's just, I listen to a lot of his, like, you know, drive, like work hard. Like, that's the stuff that I take away, none of the other stuff.
None of the other crazy stuff.
Yeah. But that's controversial, cringe. Some people call them cringe, so.
Yeah. I feel that. What's the biggest fake it till you make it moment so far that you've done in business?
Fake it till you make it? When we first started, I would tell my clients that, like, I live in like a mansion, and then I would be like, or sometimes I'd be like, yeah, I just got off a vacation. You know how it is. Like, Malibu was great, or Spain was great. I was sitting in the corner of my room for like the past 4 months, but I'd be like, how's it going? You know how it is. I had to, you know, keep the girlfriend happy. I'm single, you know, like I'm single. I'd be like, had to keep the girlfriend happy. Like, vacation was great though. How was your week? Like, like something like that.
Turns on the fake background. He's like, oh yeah, I'm still at the beach actually.
Just like, oh shoot, dude,
That's a good
was
one.
crazy.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, last one. If your company was a character in a movie, who would it be and why?
Character in a movie. This is good questions. No one's ever asked me if my company was a character in a movie. Huh. I don't really watch movies.
Really? Okay, let's do
I don't really watch movies.
like TV shows.
TV shows. Okay. I want to say, dang. So we're a marketing agency for interior designers. So I like to look at it as we're kind of just that bridge in a sense. I'll just give it like an analogy about our company. Like, I want to say it's like a bridge or like a gold nugget with, like, imagine there's a platform, right? You got a platform here, you got a platform here with a gold nugget on it, right? It's like our company is that gold nugget, right? But then there's that platform because we do run paid advertisements of that money, right? And that's the gap here, right? So in whatever movie you guys can think of where the main character or any character just kind of like can't like jump, right? Can't jump, they go back, or they're just looking at it the whole time, and then they finally take that jump, they get that gold nugget, and they're just like, this is the easiest jump ever, right? And obviously some people, they just do the jump. They just, I'll hop on the call. I don't even say anything. They just, let's go, right? And some people, they're, there, right? So I have to be that person that pushes them. So it's like both. There's our companies that jump, and I'm the person that's like, here's a rocket, by the way. Like, you don't have to worry about falling, right? So that's an analogy that I would give for our company.
You need to watch Wicked.
I will. Maybe I will. Yeah.
You're Alphaba. You guys are Alphaba. And the bird.
I have no idea what that is.
It's the main character. She's great. She's a great witch. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much.
Of course.
I appreciate your time. That was amazing. Good insight. So, whoever's listening to this, if you found some insight into our conversation, hit the like button and subscribe to our show. Thank you so much for listening. Bye, guys.